Hi, and welcome back to the Ellory Wells Show. This is episode 10. Now, that's not a massive milestone, but it's taken me quite a while to get here, and I'm pretty excited. The results, I mean, you guys like the show. I mean, we're talking thousands of downloads I'm getting those downloads faster than I ever did with the Empowered podcast. And I'm not mentioning that because downloads are all that important, but that's people out there who, like you, want to start a business or, do something different. Maybe it's finding that exit strategy and putting in the timeline of the things that you need to create, or maybe it's thinking differently. I don't know, but thank you for listening to this. I know you're probably not going to email me because most people don't. I'd love you to, but I know that you probably won't. But if you're listening to this, I just want to say thank you. And as a thank you, I'm not getting paid to promote this or anything, but I just want to mention a conference that's happening at the end of October that's going to be in San Diego. If you go to attendthrive.com, you'll see the Thrive conference. Their tagline is Make Money Matter. And one of the keynotes this year is James Altucher. You've probably come across him or something that he's done. You may not be able to put a finger on it. I know I couldn't, but I've recognized the name. And I spent the last few minutes watching clips of some keynotes that he has done, or TV things that he's been on, and the guy recorded them and put them on a Facebook post. And I have to say, the guy's really smart, and his message really fits well with the overall overarching theme of Thrive, which is you can be successful and not be a jerk about it. That's an oversimplification. The Cole Hatter, the guy who started it, the guy who came up with this idea, said that there are 4 quadrants. There's you can have a lot of success and no purpose, or not success, money, or you can have a lot of money and no purpose, or no money and a lot of purpose, which would be oftentimes like a nonprofit. But the idea is you can have a lot of money and a lot of purpose, and that's that thriving quadrant of this 4 intersection or whatever. And part of that purpose is this altruistic giving back and helping people. Anyway, attendthrive.com. Like I said, it's not an affiliate thing for me, or it's not any sort of thing, but I would love to see you go. It was the best conference that I went to in 2015, and I'm really excited about going to San Diego here. It's October 28th, 29th, and 30th. So if you've got kids and you want to make it back for Halloween on the 31st, you can do that. I think that's a Monday, and I think I'm flying back on Monday too, so I'll be back to eat some candy and watch the crazy costumes that come knocking up on our door. But anyway, let me throw up a quick intro, and then I'll tell you what today's episode is about. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs who gave up their 6-figure salary and fancy office to start a business, and I wasn't selling lemonade to my neighbors when I was 7. I wasn't born an entrepreneur, and I never laid awake at night dreaming of owning my own business. My name is Ellory Wells, and I was forced to make a decision. Welcome to the Ellory Wells Show, where we talk with real entrepreneurs about real problems that they're facing and real solutions on how they are overcoming obstacles, achieving their goals, and making a difference in the world. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, this is the place to be to help you start, build, or grow your business. So what did you think about that intro? I think it might be a little bit long, but I like it. I just recorded it, but that's not important. Real quick, before we get into the episode, something just happened. One of my mastermind members just called me, and I got his permission, but I was able to record part of that phone call on my phone. And I want to share this and brag on him and just show you the power of a mastermind. We have worked with John formulating an idea, deciding whether or not this was something that he wanted to do. And honestly, you can hear the call. If there's no confusion, this is actually a great follow-up to show number 5. If you go to ellorywells.com/show5, you can hear the mastermind call that led into this win. So it's a little bit rough. I was recording on my cell phone, switching between my computer speakers and my microphone. John had called me on his cell phone, and let me just play this for you. I think you'll enjoy. Well, that's pretty awesome, man. Signing up your first client, making your first sale, and knowing that what you are going to share with people and make their lives better is a massive, massive accomplishment. So I'm proud of you. I know you don't need my approval or praise, but I am proud of you.
Well, I kind of called you up like you were my dad in this whole thing, so you can be proud. Thanks for all your help. I appreciate it. I'm going to need it more, so get ready.
You are very welcome. Mind if I hit record right when you started talking to Isaac, so I didn't really get much of it. But you mind if I throw it up in the podcast that I'm editing right now?
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
But anyway, I had to call and let you know. I mean, I did want to know your answer to the question, but I also had to tell somebody who would be equally thrilled for me.
I am really excited for you. Awesome, man. Well, drive safe. Congrats again. And if you have any questions along the way, let me know. Make sure you tell the rest of the mastermind. I think they would be just as happy as I am.
Yeah, I will. When I get a moment, probably later tonight, I'll jump on and mention it. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Wasn't that cool? Maybe it was more cool for me than it was for you, but I love seeing people succeed. And like I told John, whether he sees me or the world sees me as a small part of that or a larger part, the important thing is being able to see someone develop an idea and turn it into something. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today is a coaching call that I had with Derek. And I wanted to preface this that not all coaching calls, just like not all coaching clients, they're not all the same. Everybody is in a different spot. Everybody goes through different things and faces different challenges. And sometimes coaching is about listening to personal issues just as much as it is about business issues. I'm a big believer that what's going on inside or behind the scenes really impacts what goes on the outside, and vice versa, or out in the public. And if you can't get your mind right, it's almost impossible to get everything else right. And one thing I always encourage my coaching clients and mastermind members, mostly masterminds, but especially when I'm working with somebody, like, look, if we need to pause the business for a second so that we can talk about family stuff or personal stuff, I want to make sure that we do that. I don't know if how many coaches out there take that same approach. Maybe it's because I'm so passionate about psychology and that's what I studied in school. But I try to take a holistic, I don't like that word really, but kind of this mental approach. Like, we have to get your mind thinking right before we can do some of the other things. And anyway, we talk about that with Derek today. This is another coaching call where we talk about how you have to say no to some things so you can say yes to other things. What happens when you fall out of love with your business? What about outsourcing to lessen the workload so you can get more done? How to increase your revenue? How to maximize your time and really direct your efforts towards things that are productive? What about feeling overwhelmed? What to do when you don't know what to do? We talk a little bit about taxes and LLCs and forming the legal side of your business and how important it is to find like-minded people so that you don't necessarily feel alone. We talk about some books. So if you want to go to ellorywells.com/show10, you can check out all of those links and resources. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the show today, Thrive, there's a link to that as well. And I'd love to see you in San Diego. But let's go into this episode with Derek. Tell me what's going on, man. How are things with you?
Good some days. It's been a whole new world, man. in the last 6 months. So just trying to adapt. And with that, periods of just being completely overwhelmed.
Okay. How has it been? What exactly has been different?
Well, one, my job, my 9 to 5, has continued to increase. Now that I'm in this management role, I have a ton more responsibilities, and we've hired on a couple new guys, and just trying to find that balance. That's been interesting. Then with the kid, obviously, that bring on a whole new wild world. Between that and then trying to continue to be productive with my side stuff, my side business.
I know your work schedule has gone up and down. The number of hours that you have to work has fluctuated quite a bit anywhere from tons of hours to down to 40 hours. Where is it right now compared to, let's say 6 months ago?
It's in a pretty decent spot. Not great, not terrible. I'm figuring out how to balance it.
Like 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week?
Averaging between 40 and 50 for the last month or so, but that's not really a good yard marker because December obviously is kind of slow. And the semester just started back, so it's been kind of slow, not too crazy. But like I said, we're bringing on new employees, and it's not bad right now.
Okay, how are things at home with the new baby?
That's day by day. Some days he's a little angel. Some days he has his moments. So, and trying to find that balance with my wife to where she's not overwhelmed.
Is she staying home all the time, or did she go back to work?
No, she's at home all the time.
Okay.
She's kind of running around as much as she can during the day, but a lot of the times he takes a lot of care, constant care.
More than you expected?
Yeah. I mean, he's a really, really good kid. I couldn't imagine having a kid that was throwing temper tantrum all the time. He kind of does his own thing, doesn't get too whiny. But I leave the house at around 6 o'clock every day in the morning.
Still going to the gym and stuff?
Yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays I go to the gym, and then usually one other day. The other times I just go in at 7. I've been trying in the last couple of weeks to go in at 7 and leave at 4. If I get home at 6:30, he's either just went down or about to go down. He takes a little nap and then gets back up, eats, and then starts getting ready for bed about 7:30, 7:45. Okay. So I'm trying to leave work at 4 so I can be home at 5 to kind of hang out with him a little bit, because usually I only see him for an hour and a half a day.
When was the last time you and your wife went out, just the two of you?
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay, so it hadn't been since before.
No. We're trying to make a solid effort to do that. I mean, even when we go out, the three of us, he actually kind of chills when we're out in public when it's loud. So if we go out to eat at a restaurant, he's usually not too bad.
When was the last time you guys went out for like a weekend or something, just the two of you? Was that 2 weeks ago?
No, we haven't gone overnight yet, just because he's breastfed, so can't.
Okay.
I mean, we can, but we're not quite ready to put that burden on somebody because he wakes up every 3 hours.
What about like dinner and movie out for 4 or 5 hours, just the two of you?
Yeah, we did that. Not too. I think we've done that 2 or 3 times.
Okay. The reason why I asked those questions, I've actually, my neighbor just right on the other side of this wall, plus 20 yards or something, her first child was born January of 2011. So she's 5 and the mom won't let them out of her sight. Like when they want to go to the gym, she wants to know, okay, can I see them from every point in the gym? Not just like she wants to have eyes on the kid. It's unhealthy. I mean,
Yeah.
I took developmental psychology twice because I didn't do so well. I know that that's bad for the kid
Right.
and the second kid. So the reason why I ask these questions is you guys are taking time apart, in a long weekend. That's okay. He's what, 6 months old? Not even 4. 4.
Yep.
So, whatever. But the reason why I asked is to make sure some of those other things are not causing stress.
Yeah.
You're not so off into holy crap, that's weird. Why are you doing this? To okay, we're within normal functioning ranges there. So, so talk to me, man. I mean, you shared something in a Facebook group. I don't know if it's a motivation thing, if it's a stress thing. Talk to me. What's been going on?
Well, the other day, our group is moving again at work. Our little group, the AV group, has moved like 3 times in the last year and a half.
Like physically relocated offices or changed departments? Okay.
Both. Not necessarily me. My office has kind of stayed the same, and my duties from day to day haven't changed too terribly much. But it's just the constant move, the constant change, the constant change in reporting structure, and just about the time we start getting in a rhythm, it always seems to get changed up again. That was like the icing on top for last week. Got some family stuff going on. Not me and my wife, my kid, but outside of that, some big stuff. So that's kind of been weighing on me. And, my side business stuff. There's just been so much going on. I don't have enough time in the day. You ever have those times where in your to-do list, you knock one thing off and 3 things get added to it type thing? You never quite, they're adding on quicker than you knock them off. I think that balance has gotten out of control.
I do have those times, but those things that get added on are usually things that I want to be added on.
Yeah.
I'm not a master. I haven't perfected it, but I have gotten comfortable with saying, I would love to, but I can't. I don't have time to do that.
I don't have that button quite yet.
You'll get there. Especially, you guys have, how long have you been married?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Ish.
So how long have you guys known each other?
10 years.
Okay. So quite a while. How long have you known her family? 10 years?
Yeah, 9.5.
Okay. So it took me a long time to get comfortable with telling her family I can't do that. I don't have time for that. And honestly, we have to shift our look as not as letting them down, but actually giving them the gift of someone who can pay attention and meet their needs. Like there's
Right.
nothing you just can't do. You try, but you're not the expert. It'd be like you taking on something with one of your clients that's not only completely out of your scope of work, but something that you have no clue how to do. There's a difference between stretching and I have no business accepting this.
Yeah.
Same thing's going to apply to our family. Like I'm just making something up kind of from my own background. If your mom asks you to paint her house, well, yeah, you could do it, but you have no business doing that. She'd get better results, probably quicker and better by just going to somebody who's more professional, or not more professional, but is a professional in that. So it'll come. It takes time and practice, but you have to also shift how you're thinking about all this crap that's being put on your calendar as I'm not the best person to handle this anyway.
Right.
Hopefully that sort of helps. Well, how are things going with your marketing and social media and web design and all those other things?
They're okay. I met with one of my social media clients last Wednesday, and it was one of those things where I thought I wasn't doing well enough. Thought I was kind of falling out of love with it.
And what'd they say?
He said I was doing fine. Just keep going, doing what you're doing.
That's good.
Our contract was 6 months, and he has full intentions of re-upping.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to that, right?
Yeah, I think we're about to end month 4.
Okay.
So.
By the way, I'd start getting him to, you don't have to bill him or whatever, but I'd start getting to sign that next 6-month contract 30 days out at the latest. Or if you're doing that, I don't know what your payment system is, but I would try to get them locked in, even if it's a soft commit, we're talking about, we have talked about these little tiny wins and sales things. When you go to buy a car, they try to get you to say yes, yes, yes. Oh, by the way, do you want to buy? And they just want you to say yes because you said yes all along.
Right.
This would be if you don't have him on automatic billing, just make sure you're ready to go. And it's not like 7.5 months and he's a month and a half late.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I know that I have it automatic through the 6 months.
Good.
So I'm just kind of, I think I've kind of fallen out of love with all of it.
With all of what?
The social media and the web stuff.
Okay.
The subject matter of one of my clients revolves around military type stuff. So having to find content, create content, whatever, especially right now with all this political stuff going on, it's like draining to sift through these articles and to create it, to find content to share on his pages.
So you've got clients from completely different industries, right?
Oh yeah.
And you're doing the social media personally for all of them.
Yeah.
Is that something, if you were a large corporation, you would have someone dedicated to all of the social media accounts that fell into the military and government.
Mm-hmm.
You would have another person or a team of people who fell into the sports and recreation.
Yeah.
So is this something, we talked about this a few weeks ago, I think. I don't know if you've given it much thought, but if you charge somebody $1,000, yeah, you put in a lot of work and time and you make $1,000, whatever. Or you could hire somebody, and even if you paid them $800, you had 80% expenses, and you completely outsource that to someone who is either a more experienced, more knowledgeable, who could do it overnight because they were in another country, and you kept 200 of it. That would be 200 that you didn't have to work for.
Right.
Is that something that you would even consider at this point, so that you're not sitting there, looking through the Drudge Report or wherever you research to find things that you can share about the military?
I mean, right now, no. Just because it's one of those control things, I think. I'm not comfortable with someone running that. It would have to be very much the right person. It would take a lot of vetting, interviewing, just because this guy has a lot of trust in me. I mean, I think one of the issues is I didn't charge him enough in the beginning for the amount of work I do. So I'm not sure how to approach that next contract being that amount, if that's even.
Well, let's look at that for a second. Let's say you doubled your price. I would guess that doubling your price would put you in the ballpark of worth my time. May not make you super rich, but you probably undercharge by half. Most people should double or triple what they're charging. What would he say?
I don't know. Honestly, he's a small business operating out of his house. I don't really know. I don't think he makes a ton of money. It's like novelty apparel type stuff. So he goes through seasons.
Well, before we get too far down this road, I would not necessarily advocate raising your rates with that customer. As you know, I try to once somebody locks in at a level,
Yeah.
they may or may not know that I've locked them in, but I have not increased my rate for anyone, period, to this, unless they left and come back.
Mm-hmm.
I have people who are wanting to come back, and it's significantly more expensive. So I would honor what you have. However, are you doing anything that is outside of that scope of work? That he said, all right, I'm going to pay you X amount of dollars for X, Y, and Z. Are you doing X, Y, and Z plus A, B, and G, and F?
No.
Okay, so you are doing exactly what he is paying for.
Roughly. Okay. I mean, we never agreed on how much time I would invest in this and how much I'd be posting. Like, there was never a number.
Well, you couldn't because you might not. I doubt you knew.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea.
What's your next step? How do you move forward? I've got an idea, but what do you think you do?
My gut reaction is I'm going to have to be a little bit more deliberate with my time when it comes to this particular project. That's
actually a pretty good answer, not where I was headed. I was thinking, okay, you hustle and find out, you go and you get that client who is going to pay you twice that. You don't have to drop the client, the other guy, but I mean, when you've got a guy paying you, let's say $300 a month, and you've got a guy paying you $900 a month, instead of finding 3 people at 300 and they each take 4 hours a week, you find one at 900 and takes 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm big on keeping those commitments. Like I said, I never raised somebody's rate or asked them for more. But I've tried to be as conscious as possible about, even if I want to, I can't time wise, and in fairness to other clients, just say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, even though I'm not being paid to. I'm gonna go ahead and spend an extra 2 or 3 hours on this.
Yeah,
I'm all for you delivering on what you committed, and in fact over delivering, because your best business card to find that guy that's going to pay you 2 or 3x is going to be this guy that's a satisfied customer and saying, Derek pays me, or Derek does such a great job, I'm getting way more value than what I'm paying. And then you go over to this next guy and say, yeah, I'm going to charge $900 a month, and they're like, man, they don't know that this guy pays only $300.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever this guy says, man, I get way more value than what I'm paying Derek for, they're going to be like, man, that's a good deal. And because you're going to put in the same amount of effort to them. But like I said, you got to, I like the idea of budgeting your time better and keeping track. So you're sharing different social media sources and finding them from somewhere and then sharing them from his Twitter feed, or
all of the above: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, he at some point he wants to be kind of a military news aggregator, but right now we're just sharing from people that are doing that.
Okay, so what criteria do you look for before you should say, okay, this is worth sharing on behalf of my client?
Would I read it? So that involves me actually sitting there and reading it. I want to make sure it's something, if it's interesting to me, then I feel like it would catch the attention of.
Are you reading 100% of the articles?
No, I'm skimming. And I mean, I can kind of tell now what works and what doesn't.
Okay, so you should be getting faster at it.
Yeah. Therefore,
you're actually making more money per hour, per minute than you were before.
In theory.
Well, that's why you don't charge by the hour. That's why you charge for the project, which in this case, it's kind of biting you in the butt's not necessarily the right thing, but it was a learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is with everything else going on, I haven't had time to be deliberate with it.
Okay.
I used to sit down on Sundays and schedule almost all the posts throughout the week. And then all I had to do basically was post to Instagram. Everything else was automated.
So now what are you doing on Sundays, and when are you doing this?
I haven't been home on Sundays in a while, and I'm doing this every morning for that day and trying to get out in front of it. I allot myself an hour, and if I get one day done, that's what I get. If I get 3 days done, that's what I get.
What are you doing on Sundays then?
This past Sunday, I was in Macon hunting. The Sunday before that, I was at my brother's house. I've been out of town.
So long story short, you're feeling kind of burned out by all this.
Yeah, that's actually, to be honest, that's why I went hunting Sunday, because I was finally like, I got to do me for a second. I got to take a break. I got to step away from it.
Do you feel like this social stuff, I mean, your degree's in social media or something?
It's marketing.
And then you got a certification in social media?
Yeah. And I was thinking about the other day, I was in the car and I was kind of thinking about to the beginning of all this. Why did I start all this? Why did I join this mastermind? What brought me to where I am now? And I realized I think I was doing all this to promote myself. I think I did the website stuff to better my website. I think I got the social media certificate to better my own social media, and I kind of got away from that. I mean, I haven't updated my freaking website and I don't even know how long. One, I don't have the time for it. Two, I think I've gotten so far behind with everything else.
So would you say a goal of yours is still to run a marketing consulting business from home?
Yes, but
how would that look different from what you're doing today?
I think that I would not be as hands-on with everything as I am today. I think I need to figure out how, similar to your VA suggestion, I need to figure out how I can trust people with these things.
Well, you can't be the boss unless you have, this is a really bad analogy. You can't be the boss unless you have somebody to boss.
Right.
Or you can't be a leader until you have someone following you. I think that's a better analogy. But you can't be hands off until you have someone else who can be hands on. And that goes back to, you think about all this. I don't have a whole lot of experience in outsourcing. However, instead of someone scheduling these social media things, what you could have somebody doing is spending, I don't know what it would cost. I think Hutch is like $200 a month and you get like 20 or 30 hours of a general VA. You could take that 200 and have them divide. Let's say you get 30 hours and you have 3 industries. They spend 10 hours just filtering. You give them a list of sites you normally frequent, and they spend 10 hours pulling just dozens and dozens of potential articles. And then instead of you bouncing around, you just have to go through a curated list. So it's already curated once, and you just say, yes, this one, yes, that one, no, that, but this one. And you just go through these verticals. You get the military and whatever. And that cuts your time in half. So instead of back to that $1,000 and paying them $800, you charge $1,000 and you still pay them $200, and you still got a little bit more work, but it's significantly less work than what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing right now. You make enough with your full-time job to pay all the bills, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So any money that you make with your side business or however you want to say it is on top of that. It's additional profit to your family's bottom line. So if you make $1,000 and have to work your butt off, that's not as good as making $200 and doing nothing.
Yeah.
Just a thought, because I want you to have that media agency that you can do from home. You said hands off, which is good. The good and bad part about this is that you're completely in the driver's seat. If your business isn't going to get you to that position, it's completely up to you to fix it. So don't take on any more of these guys. The guys that are working out of their garage, not your target market anymore.
Yeah.
The guys that are doing, I mean, get to this level of, I don't know how well you've defined your avatar yet. And if you haven't checked out that worksheet that I shared, Amy went through it and loved it. A lot of people have gone through it and really liked it. I mean, you got to figure out, okay, if a business isn't making at least $60,000 a year and whatever, they can't afford me. And it's not necessarily about affording you. It's they can't afford enough to where I can do this full time, or they can't afford to pay me enough to where I can take all day Sunday and go hunting, or take my son in a few years, or my wife doesn't have to go back to work. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. It does. I think who I'm working with is my avatar. I really do.
Okay.
I really enjoy the people that I work with. I think one, not charge enough. Two, I'm not deliberate enough with my time. That's for sure.
Without even knowing your schedule, I would probably say yes.
Yeah.
Most people aren't.
No, I mean, I'll be completely honest. Days that I mean, yesterday was a perfect example. I literally, my kid got shots, his 4-month shots, and I laid down on the couch with him for like 2 hours. My wife even, she was like, I can't believe you're actually sitting down and not doing anything. I don't think I'm getting enough of that, because when I do get those seconds that I don't have anything going on, instead of going and working on getting ahead in my business or something, I crash. As soon as I find those windows, I just crash.
Like go to sleep or to zone out, or what do you mean by
zone out? Yeah. I had to drink a cup of coffee at 7:30 last night. It was everything I could do to stay focused.
Is your son sleeping through the night?
No.
Okay.
No, he wakes up like every 3 hours. I try to go to bed early, but like I said, I don't get home till 6:30. Just depends on what day it is. And then by the time I get home,
What happened to 4:30?
5 is the earliest I get home. I leave at 4, but the earliest I ever really get home is 5. It's about an hour to get home. Anyways, by the time I get home, play with him, eat, it's already 8:30. So I usually I try my hardest not to go to bed after 10, because waking up at 5 after going to bed after 10 is quite rough.
Yeah.
So, going to the gym is big for me.
Okay. What would think back to why you wanted to chat, why you wanted to say, look, we got a ultra focus call to get me back on track. I'm losing momentum. How can we make sure that goal is accomplished today? Maybe some action steps?
Yeah, action steps will be good. And ironing my schedule out. I mean, my main thing was just to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong right now. Nothing too out of hand. Nothing. I'm not.
Well, so I've done this with a couple of my other coaching clients. And I did this for myself, and it was kind of a slap in the face. I think I put it in our private Facebook group about the 72-hour time audit.
Yeah.
I would check that out. You don't have to share the results with me or anybody else. But if it's sleep, just put sleep. If it was commuting, put commuting. If it's commuting and listening to a podcast, commuting/podcast in the 7:30 to 8. It's broken down into 30-minute sections. Most people waste too much time. The busier I got and continue to get, the more I have to be stupid specific about what I am doing at most times in the day.
Yeah.
So when Ashley gets home, we can watch TV. We spent a few hours last night playing Halo, and I know that I work now, so when she comes home, I can hang out with her and maximize that time. I think most people would have a parallel to that. I know you definitely do. You just said you got to maximize those seconds to spend with your son when you're not sleeping or working or hunting or something else, right?
Yeah. I can find that if I don't have it. I have another one that I've used before.
Okay. I broke it down into 30-minute chunks. Fill that out for 3 days. I realized I don't remember what it was. I did it a few years ago. I was spending way too much time on whatever. But you got to budget every minute. I mean, if there's a 10-minute window between meetings, I mean, you got to know, okay, I'm writing in my journal. I'm listening to an audiobook. I am listening to a podcast. I'm typing up, outlining my book, or I'm going through and adding things to my Feedly account for various clients. You got to budget down to ridiculous levels. It's going to seem really kind of stupid, but that's how you identify those times. I mean, if you found 10-minute blocks, that's over an hour and a half.
Right.
And we would waste 10 minutes in the bathroom. I mean, and
Yeah.
we find those, and if that's time wasted, that's time we can get back, because the frustrating, annoying truth is that you and I have the same amount of time as freaking Richard Branson.
Right.
His name popped up in School of Greatness today. That's what I'm reading. But always have that notebook with you. Always have a book with you. Always have your Evernote where you can jot down a blog post idea, something that will give you. You gotta always have something. So it's the 72-hour timeline. I would also, because you and I are in slightly different positions about hiring this stuff, because you can still make money on something and not have to do it yourself. It's like an affiliate, generating affiliate income, which you might want to look at how you could generate that for some of your clients and through blogging and some of the outbound marketing things you're doing. I made $75 over breakfast today, so it was well worth my $12 to get coffee and croissant and potatoes and eggs and everything. I would build a criteria list for these manual tasks that you're doing that what did you say, you don't have a passion for anymore? They're draining or whatever, like the things for the military things, or your apartments, or whatever client it is that you have. How do you grade? You said if you would rate it or not. Figure out a way that you can outsource that to somebody. I mean, there might even be software out there, or I know you can subscribe to an RSS feed of a blog. Just, it's usually like something.com/feed or whatever, but you can also subscribe, I think, to categories. So if you're going to, let's say, for example, entrepreneur.com, and you're only interested in posts related to social media, you can usually subscribe to a tag or a category, and the only things that would pop up in your feed are things that fall under that. So spend a couple minutes to explore that, and I think that could save your time. So instead of going to entrepreneur.com, navigating to that category and filtering by the latest one, and you spend 60 to 90 seconds doing that every single time, you now get those curated for you based on a category that you've already predetermined to be worth your time. That would be probably step one on how you could outsource this to somebody else. Then step two would be, okay, I tend to enjoy things that mention these types of things, or this keyword in the title. And you do this, you create 4 or 5 things, and then you find somebody who can help you with that list. And they take this enormous list from 15 different websites, and then they put it into a Google Doc or something, and then all you have are headlines and URLs, and then you could say, well, that's a crappy headline, I don't even care to read it, we're not going to do it. That's it. And you just figure out, get a system, and then eventually you will over time train somebody to think like you do. But if I know we've talked about it before, but have you read The E-Myth Revisited? I think I might have sent that to you. Did I not?
You may have sent. Yeah, I think it may have been in that. I can't remember.
Well, the way you will automate and scale this is by having a replicable process that even you can do on your bad days.
Yeah, that's literally on my list of things to do, is to outline my process in Asana to where it's checkable.
Yeah.
Evernote, Asana, whatever, to where someone can look at that and go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, just say,
check.
you could say, I mean, you could pass it off to your wife who knows, maybe she's an expert too, knows nothing about this, and she goes through just like a VA in the Philippines or something would, and say, okay, does this meet this criteria? Yes. Does it meet this criteria? Yes. Does it meet this one? No. Okay, well, it makes 4 out of 5. I'll send it to Derek. 3 out of 5, probably junk. So I'm gonna just push it aside, and then you figure out how to do that. And I'm not saying your life will be easier, but all of a sudden this account that is taking up a larger portion of time than it should, you've created a system to where he can still have faith and trust in you, but you don't have to do the manual work.
Yeah.
So find time where you're wasting time. We all have it. And then plan time to waste time. Plan time to have fun and do nothing and play with the kid and go to the park and go hunting. But when you're not, find something. And I wanted to mention this because I was just thinking about it a minute ago. I love video games. I've played video games my entire life. Find something, and hopefully it's this marketing agency, to where you could be in the middle of your favorite thing and want to stop to get back to, quote, work.
Yeah, I was there probably a year ago.
And what were you doing at that point?
Working on my website and probably the first client or two.
A year ago, you didn't have a client.
Well, yeah, I did, but it was website work.
Okay.
Yeah, it was building something for me though, so it was a little bit different, building my website. So it makes, as selfish as that sounds, you're obviously a little bit more interested in.
But if you could pick and choose clients that you cared about and were interested in, and you were building websites,
yeah,
you could probably get really close to that.
No, yeah, well, I agree. I think I've had to be a little bit more selective. At first, you can't though.
If you picked up 3 clients at $1,500 every month, just 3, and then a small retainer,
mm-hmm.
You make $4,500 every month, plus retainers as you go along to do updates and whatever, plus a retainer to do social media that you're outsourcing and keeping 15% off just revenue or profit or whatever. You pick up 1 or 2 the next month instead of 3. You've still got some of that to fall back on, the retainers and everything else. But I want you to feel like all of this frustration and hard work is leading to something that is legitimately possible.
No, I
Do you think you can do this?
Some days. Some days. I think I just had a lot at one time. I had the kids, I had the job change, and I had my business kind of take off all at the same time. I have all these new things. I haven't found the balance of the 3 yet. I think that's why I keep getting overwhelmed.
Okay.
Most of the time things kind of come one at a time, and it's overwhelming for a second, and you kind of get it under control, and you move on to the next big thing. This is not. This one kind of all at once. So I think that's why I'm still kind of poking holes, trying to figure it out.
Is there someone that you know that's doing what you want to be doing?
No, I don't believe so.
Is there someone close, someone that you know that is doing something close to what you want to be doing?
Obviously, a lot of people in the mastermind.
A few. I don't know about a lot.
Well, yeah, a couple. I think we've talked about this before, but nobody I really am around, hang out with, nobody in my circles does anything like what I do.
Do you know how many people on an off week, not a coaching or mastermind week, do you know how many people I interact with during that entire 7-day period for more than 30 seconds at a time?
I do know.
Less than 10. I almost said less than 5, but say of course, Ashley. She's not business related. I do something on Tuesdays, which is where I was just a couple hours ago, and a guy comes. Maybe there's 2, so let's say there's 2 there. That's 3. I'm not going to include the waiter or waitress or the manager that I now know and say hello to. So probably less than 5.
Mm-hmm.
And that will never change unless I do something different. But at the same time, I'm not perfect at this, but I'm pretty good at focusing on what needs to be done. And the stuff that needs to be done is stuff that would pull me away from a video game I love playing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't the point of me even mentioning this is that you don't have to have people around you constantly that are pulling you or pushing you in the direction that you want to go. Because at the end of the day, the like John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. The success or failure of your business depends on you. You got to get that reinforcement. And if you're not enough, reach out to those people in the mastermind, the new people, and just chat with them. I mean, whenever I see you guys interacting, it freaking blows my mind, and I think it's awesome, and I love it. And wish it would happen more. Like when you had lunch with Matt the other day, as probably like 8 months ago now.
Yeah.
But if that was fun, do that again. You know, just make that time, because it is possible. That I asked you that question not because I knew or did not know the answer. I wanted to know if you believed in yourself to the point where it could be possible.
I do. I mean, I know it's there. Just got to carve the time out.
Okay. I want to make sure you walk away from this thinking, okay, I feel better. I feel encouraged. Ellory didn't beat me up. And I have a list of a few things that I'm excited about going and doing.
Yeah.
Because I want you to be excited. If I don't sound like I want you to be excited, let me make sure that's clear. I want you to be excited about things that are on your agenda to do.
Yeah.
And 72-hour time audit, coming up with a list of things to outsource to the VA. What else do you think could get you to that marketing agency you run from home?
More time in the day.
We've talked about a couple things that we can eliminate, like getting rid of some of these things to a possible VA or maybe software that could help you curate. What are some things that you could add that would make your life easier or help you get to the goal that you have for yourself?
I definitely need to get more organized. I think that has something to do with why I'm where I'm at. A lot more automation, that's for sure.
When you say got to where I'm at, where are you?
I think right now my business is kind of all over the place. I don't even know where to begin. That's honestly why I'm going to the Small Business Development Center after this call. I don't know what to do. Like, I created this company because I felt like I had to, and now all this stuff that has come with it has overwhelmed me, and I'm kind of hesitant about even continuing with this whole creating the LLC, because it's adding 10 times more stuff to my plate rather than, I thought it would make it maybe a little easier. I don't know. Between all this accounting stuff, all the paperwork that comes along with it, taxes, etc. I don't know. I'm still kind of annoyed about the LegalZoom thing. I know I need to let that go.
When you don't know what to do next, what's your best way to fight that? What is your first step?
I'm one of those people that they were actually kind of not really making fun of me, but they were pointing it out this weekend One of the guys I was hunting with, he's like, Derek, you're so methodical. I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, you won't even take a step until you plan it out. It's like, you won't even take 2 steps forward without having a plan, knowing where you're going, which direction you're going, where's it at on the map. He's like, I love it. You're just one of those people that has to know what's around every corner before you go around it. And that's good in some aspects, and it's definitely a hindrance in others. You know, this kind of entrepreneurial thing is forge into the unknown.
You know what I thought of when you told me about this the last time? And this sounds mean, not to you, but this is a hypothetical person, so I guess it's okay. Who is the dumbest business owner that you know of? Think about like a restaurant you went to, or just like, how is this place still standing? That person can figure it out. You can too.
No, yeah, I know I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah,
I think it's more the aggravation of I don't know now. That if I don't know, that bothers me. I'm one of those people that has to know. I got to know. Like,
why to get over that?
Why are you reading that article? It's because I have to know. Why do you need to know? What does that do for you?
You'll want to make an effort to get over that, because it's not possible. But first, if you don't know what to do, the first thing that you do is to acquire information. If you ask somebody, or somebody asked you, how do I get to your house? Well, you wouldn't say, well, you turn left. You say, well, where are you? Where are you right now? That's the same if you're doing budget, if you're doing a business plan, or what is the status of the situation right now? And Good to Great, Collins, I think, says the best people who are the ones who could take their company from good to great are the ones who took a cold, hard, realistic look at their current situation. And that's what we got to do. And that's where we, moving forward with, the tax situation, we got to know where we are. We got to accumulate information. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to figure it out, but we can't tell you to go left over the bridge if we don't know where your starting point is. That was like 4 analogies rolled into 30 seconds. So hopefully you followed that.
Yeah, I think that's my main thing is I'm at the very beginning. I don't even have my feet wet other than, wow, I have the LLC now.
Well, just remember, I mean, your business is, all businesses are about profit and loss. You got to have more profit than you do. Well, not loss sounds bad, maybe more just your expenses. You got to be in the black. And the way that you're setting up your business, the way that we've been talking about, your overhead is pretty much nothing. Your expenses are small unless you want to upgrade them. If you have generated more revenue than you've had in expenses, you'll probably have to pay some taxes on that. I don't know. I think, honestly, one thing I would really like to do, and I tried to do this last year, and the guys I was going to weren't available. I think it would provide a lot of value to me as well, but for one of the experts calls in the membership site, to have a tax accountant or some sort of attorney as one of the experts, and we just bombard them with questions for an hour. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think
one of the big things is a lot of the people that I talk to, a lot of accountants, etc., they don't really get what I'm doing. They don't understand it all. Like, so do you have any credit? Are you going to apply for a loan for business expenses? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, I don't need any of that. Can you please just tell me the basics? And they don't get that. They won't just tell me the basics. It's all this other fluff that I don't need.
By the way, that's why there is a niche out there for people, and I've seen them popping up for people. I think John Dumas has one. Entrepreneur on Fire, his attorney or his accountant has a segment on his blog. There is a niche being out there that is rapidly growing to serve people like you and me, who we're not going to go into debt to do this. We're not going to go and apply for a loan. We're not going to buy it if we can't afford it. We're going to run not a cash business necessarily, but something that is a soft business. We don't have a physical product.
Right. I mean, she wanted it was like $2,000 initially, and then $30 a month, and it's like that eats my entire profit. Why?
Yeah.
It's pointless to hire an accountant for $1,500 when that's going to eat through an entire chunk of my profit. It's not worth it.
I would take a serious look at one of the $100, $200 versions of a Quicken or Easy, whatever it is. You can get them off the shelf at Best Buy, or you can just go to a Quicken, or I don't even know the software, tax something, and run through those questions. You type in your EIN number, you put in your revenue for the year, you put in your expenses for the year, you itemize as much as you can, save all your receipts in Evernote or something. You'll get, if you have affiliate income from anywhere, they will usually send you a W-2 or whatever it's called, and you plug that information in there. If they report it, you have to respond on your tax form.
My thing is, I was literally just asking. I was like, I need to know what forms to submit on what days. That's all I need. I don't need all the rest of the stuff. What form do I need to submit right now? And that, well, we need to take a long look at what your history, It's like, no, you don't understand. I don't have any history. There's nothing there. I just need to know what forms to submit when. This is quarterly. You submit this quarterly. This, you just started your LLC. Yeah. Okay, submit these 3 forms. I'm not even an accountant. I know it's not rocket science. There's forms to submit at particular times. I just want to know what that is.
Well, she's trying to sign you as a client. I mean,
I get that, but I don't. And my thing is, I don't mind paying you a reasonable amount, but
you got to know somebody from school that got their degree in accounting. It's probably the pale guy or girl who was there a little bit too long.
I'll have to look back through. I mean, like I said, most of the people that I hang out with from high school that didn't go to college. I would love to meet some people that had some stuff going on that was in the similar boat or relevant to what I'm doing.
Find them online, man. Ask people like Matt if he knows anybody that's in your area. You got to start with somebody. I mean, you'll connect with those. Make it a point. Add this to your checklist. Make it a point to just have a 20-minute phone call with everybody that's in our Facebook group. I promise you, none of them are jerks. I have hands full of them, and just chat with them. By the way, I don't know a whole lot of people here in the wherever I am part of the world. Do you know anybody that I connect with, go have lunch with? I don't know who they would recommend, but I would assume they know people in your part of the world. Because not having that support network, I mean, that's why I started going to La Madeline on Tuesdays, because those same people. Imagine I just listed Ashley and the 2 or 3 guys that sometimes come, and I didn't want to mention the manager or whatever. Imagine if I wasn't doing that once a week, how my outside exposure would be almost zero, and it was for a while, and it drove me nuts. So I see the value in it. Anyway, you got some action plans. Do you feel like this was worth your time?
Yeah. I mean, that was the main reason I wanted to do it. I just had to talk through some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I don't have a lot of people that even understand. Like, I could talk to several people about this type of stuff, but they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So sometimes I have to talk to somebody that's actually relatable when it comes to this.
Okay.
Makes it much easier for me to talk through. I'm sitting here thinking the whole time I'm talking, thinking through what I need to do, thinking about the stuff I've been doing. Sometimes you just gotta talk it out.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes it helps.
But it always helps me. That's for sure.
All right, man. What else do you need from me? Anything else I can help you with?
I think that's it for now. Can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll come up with something as soon as I get in the car and drive home.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon. We'll see you.
See you.
Being an entrepreneur and starting a business takes its toll. And if you don't have a group of people to support you and encourage you, not just to keep you accountable, but to help you lift your spirits, you got to do that, guys. You have to do that, or else you'll get lost in your head or intimidated or just lost. I hope you get the encouragement and the positive atmosphere around you that you need. And I'll give you a tip. If you have a business and you are kind of in this funk, like Derek, you might be struggling with falling out of love with your business. I know, honestly, transparently, I've been there a few times in the last few years. The best thing to do is talk to your customers. Ask them why they decided to work with you, how you could be better. Just talk to people. Like, you don't know how much enjoyment and excitement and encouragement I got out of the call I shared from John Stolpe about an hour ago. So you gotta just talk to customers. I think that's one of the best things to do, and will help solve all kinds of problems that you might be having in your business if you're in a funk, kind of like Derek. Thanks for tuning in today. We're running a little bit long, so I won't keep you too much longer. I want to thank everybody who is already giving me a rating and review in iTunes. I'm just checking over here. I pulled this up to do a little bit of note taking while I was finishing editing, and the last episode, which was called Profit, Enjoyment, Impact, and How to Ask for Business. That thing is all the way to the right on the popularity scales. I just did a little bit of a snap about it, and I was like, you know what? I wasn't cool in middle school or high school, but I'm popular now. And that's all because of you and listeners like that other person that's over in the car on the other side of the desk who might just be listening to the Ellory Wells Show. And if they're not, you know what? They might need you to tell them about it. So anyway, have an amazing day. Maybe I will see you in San Diego in October. I'll also be in Orlando in the middle of September for a different conference. So if that's a place in the world where you are, hope to see you there. That'd be kind of cool. Have a dinner, drink, something like that. Anyway, have an awesome day. Thank you for listening to the Ellory Wells Show. I'm your host, Ellory Wells. Go do something awesome.